Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the teen video. I'm just going to dig into this and get started on it. Like I said in the previous video, I'm going to start with the females. Alright. Today's time is different than yesterday. You got to understand that you're living in a time frame right now that is more devil-filled than it has ever been. See, the devil wants to split families up. He wants to pull siblings away from each other. And you go into that structure where God didn't really intend for things to happen the way they happen. They just do. We have to understand that things sometimes in this lifetime happens beyond what you can control. Doesn't mean if you're in a split family now, doesn't mean that your father doesn't love you, doesn't mean that your mother doesn't love you. And you may say, well, I don't feel like they do. I agree. I totally agree. I grew up this way. That's why I can agree with you. Doesn't matter, a male or a female. We all have that built-in thought in life because it's human nature. It's feelings. It's what we go through, whether, again, male or female. You have to understand the devil wants you confused. He wants you to feel not loved. He wants you to fall into that realm, per se, where you're at today. We have never ever thought, I've never thought, I can say for myself, that I would ever see a time come where we go, well, I'm not for sure what my child's going to be, so I don't want to put male or female on the birth certificate. It's like saying I'm never going to change diaper because I don't want to be wrong. What do I mean by that? Glad you asked. When you change a diaper, you clearly see if the baby is male or female. Just saying. God doesn't make mistakes. We do. The devil doesn't lead you to temptation. He presents it. If it's I appealing to you, you're going to accept it. I have never dumped a bottle of beer down my throat that I was forced into. I have never took a drug substance and put in my body. I did it willingly. I even knew what some of the drugs were going to do. I didn't care. I truly didn't. I felt in my life I had no purpose, no reason, no plan whatsoever in life. Now that's the devil talking. The devil's clever and really wise. Now, girls, if you're below the age of 16 here, here's what's going on. You start hitting the age, I believe, in my area of life, about 12 years old, where confusion starts setting in. And again, just because, now, you may say, well, I don't have a father in place. Okay. How do I know that he loves me? Well, is he part of your life? Is he giving you advice? Is he not tearing down your mother? Because you don't need that. Because you're going to think that's okay. For a man that you get with later on, it's okay to talk to you that way if he talks about your mother that way. It's not okay. It's not. Wrong and a wrong doesn't make a right. Never will, never has. It just teaches you to be okay with things. See, my daughters, on the other hand, done the totally opposite. They went off their mother's values and not mine. I showed them a father that cared. I showed them a father that, notice I'm saying father, a father that looked out for their best interests, a father that went to work every day, whether sick or whatever I had to go through, I went through it. Not bragging on myself, I'm giving you examples here. A dad is someone that's going to be there whenever. Holiday may show up. You may not even get a call. You may not get a birthday card. You may not get anything. You got to accept this. I'm sorry, but that's what's happening out here. It's like sometimes separations, you're the last thing on their minds. And it's true. I've seen it. Why I called my dad when my dad was alive my dad. I never really called him a father. A couple times. That was about it. The true father I have is in heaven. Father the Creator. The true father. Once I got to know him through Jesus, my life changed. And my way of looking at life changed. That's why I'm able to sit here and speak the way that I do today. I want you to know something. When you start hitting it, see, I say 12 because back in the earlier times, when a child turned 12, they become like the man figure in a woman figure. They would help out on the farm, help out in the kitchen, whatever it was. You are in this transition stage. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 starts changing again. Because most people are graduating by the age of 20, 17, 18, depending on when you started school. If you didn't have to repeat the grade. All these things take into the equation. You start growing up and you don't feel love from a father figure, even a dad figure. What happens? You start allowing the devil to send the wrong people into your life. He sends the wrong people into your lives and you think it's okay. What happens to this? See, you guys are growing up with technology that we didn't have. I didn't have it. I didn't have the internet at my palm of my hand walking around with a cell phone. I didn't have a computer to get on. I mean, I think computers came out, I don't even know. Well, some part of me wants to say publicly, I believe they were probably before, I would have to say probably in the 80s. I might be wrong with this. Don't quote me on this. I still didn't have access to stuff. It wasn't like you have today. Every single thing is at your fingertips. You may be on an innocent page and type in the wrong word. That's why I say wording is very important. It's why I like doing videos instead of typing back and replying back. Even my comments sometimes are very short. And I get right to the point of it because I don't want to mislead somebody in the wrong direction. That being said, I have done this. Has happened to me now. And I know you guys are, you young ladies growing into this adulthood, it's Satan's time to grab a hold of you. You grow up, let's just say, your body as it changes, just going to put it like this, becomes developed. And I know some of you might be watching this going, wow. We do say body parts. I've been saying body parts since I was in 4th grade. I learned about this. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't. I truly didn't learn about it. A lot of this sex educational stuff, maybe I skipped over it. Maybe I moved around before that was taking place. I don't know. I've heard some people say, yeah, Nelson, even back then, I've heard about it in 5th, 6th grade. I don't. It was until I went to some class in 7th grade down in West Virginia when we moved down there, and I'm sitting there going, whoa. I don't really think it's a school's right, to be honest, to push this on you. I think it's your parents' responsibility when they feel ready to sit down with you. I don't know why we got to be so shameful of this, because it's human life, it's what's going to happen, and it's a warning. But the problem is, today, everybody's so busy doing whatever they're doing. I mean, I remember, honestly, and I'm just being real with you. I remember they handed us condoms. Everybody in the class. And I'm looking down at this, and, people giggle, and it's the common thing back then, like, and I'm telling you right now, and this is true, and I'm going in order to trust me, you got to hear sometimes what people go through, and to know that, wow, I can't believe this guy just said this. I had no clue what to do with it. I'm like, what the heck? People outside of class when we were waiting on the bus, we got off at the bus stop. Now, it was like a 45-minute walk for me to get from the bus stop to where I live. Dirt, rain, pouring down. It was dirt, people. It was West Virginia. They give a new meaning to the word holla. When I hear people say that, I think about their treacherous days I walked through that mud, and I was covered in mud just trying to get home. It's not like we had running water. I had to walk to get water. There wasn't a washing machine. They would wash maybe once a month if we were lucky. But anyways, people were blowing them up like balloons. So you can imagine what I thought. It's just a balloon. No idea. It's like giving somebody a gun and not explaining the safety of a gun. Does you no good. So, your body starts to develop. You're becoming into that woman stage. Well, your hormones kick in. Now, this is the part about the males that I'm going to touch on their end, but I'm also going to tell you, you are not a piece of meat. I want a piece of meat, I go to the butcher shop, or I go to a store and I go to the meat aisle. If you allow yourself to be seen as a piece of meat, you have no one else to blame but yourself. Because let's face it, you're growing up in the devil's time that all they want is one thing from you. Where's the commitment? Most likely, if you listen through life, not too many people get together through school and date and go through junior high, go through high school, get married. Even if they do, I know so many people that just got married right out of high school, married their high school sweetheart, as they say, and they're miserable. How many girls have you seen today end up pregnant? And the boys are nowhere to be found. No responsibility. Child support really can't even go after them because they're not old enough yet. They're not working. Will it get washed through the system? I don't know. But I want you to think about all this stuff. You are important to Jesus. You are important to God. Your body is sacred. Resist the devil, and you're going to thank me one day. You mean something. Don't let some guy take advantage of you, feed you full of nonsense words. Because you're more important than that. Words will never, ever replace what they've taken from you. And I'm being truthful about this. You can't get it back once it's gone. First time you sleep with a male, it's gone. That innocent, that way you felt. You may even feel ashamed. Or you may be around somebody that has done it and goes, well, this wasn't what I expected. And you grow accustomed to that. There's people that sell their bodies on the streets. All day long at truck stops, you got to be very careful who's knocking at your door. To give money to a man, your body is worth nothing. That's what the devil does. He makes you worth nothing. Truly, if a boy, and I'm saying boy because you're still a boy, you grow up with this person, you date this person, I'm just going to say it. I used to tell my kids all the time, holding hands leads to kissing. Kissing leads to babies. Babies leads to prison. And they'd laugh at me, Dad, really? Right. Because you come back knocked up and I'm putting somebody in the grave. I wouldn't truly do it, but I was hoping it was enough to scare them. Think about today. What you wear, is it appealing? Is it showing too much? And I think you know what I mean. The top area, the bottom areas, the stomach area, it's all enticement. It brings lust. It brings that affection. You may dress like that to get attention, but you are getting the wrong attention. When you're on social medias and you're putting your school, you may have a job at a restaurant, fast food, and you're putting, this is where I work, this is the street I work on, these are the hours. Do you understand? Girls get snatched off the streets because some sex predator, some sick individual from hell sees you, wants you, pays for you. Somebody's coming to get you. You will never see any family, anybody again, because they will use you, abuse you, then the person that paid for you will drug you up and put you through sex trafficking. When they're done with you and you pass away, they dispose of your body in a way that you probably would never ever want to know, but you wouldn't feel it anyways. Chances of you repenting and finding Jesus through all this, you may, but you're going to be so drugged up out of your mind. And this is where I go into the realm where people say, Nelson, this is wrong. No, it's not wrong. I've been there. When I was drugged out of my mind, I didn't think about Jesus. I tell you what I did think about, the demons that I was watching watch me. It's real. God made our bodies sacred. It's a temple. It needs to be clean. The devil wants to take that from you. He wants to take your innocence. I'm here to tell you, please don't do this. You may have already done it. That's okay. Repent and move on. Don't do it no more until you're legally married. How do you know? Well, I'm going to tell you. Your sweetheart that you're dating, if they're grabby filly on you and want you to do other things, I'm telling you right now, don't even touch a body part. Because that's still sexual immorality. You don't need to be doing any kind of favors to anybody. Well, if you won't sleep with me, at least do this for me. No. Tell them no. Because they're still degrading. It's about them. How do you know? Because if you walk up to someone and you went out on a few dates and they're trying to get kissy and what we used to call first base, which is basically, running your hands on the topper part of the body. And I'm being respectful to you women and young ladies. The men, I'm not going to be so respectful because that's how men talk. But I respect. It's out of respect. How do you know respect? Right here, what you're getting is respect. Because I'm not calling out your body parts as it's some kind of sexual lust. Because it shouldn't be. Stop dressing like this. Let me tell you something. A man buys a car, and I'm a big car guy. I take it over to my buddies. First thing we do is pop the hood. If I had the hood off, nobody would ever want to see what's under the hood. You understand what I'm saying? If you're closed up, nobody is going to want and push and pressure you. Instead, they might bypass you. This person may say, well, I'm here for the long haul. Oh yeah? Well then why are you so grabby-filly? Why are you so being pressured? Because most likely, you're going to find out later on, if you held out, that they're over here with a friend of yours or a friend of a friend's or whatever. Just goes to show you that sometimes you can't even trust your friends. You should trust nobody. God said so. Now we should respect the people that come in truth, but test it with the Bible. A dad should be, a father should be above and beyond that, no matter what role and how the role is. You should know a love of a father, and you won't fall into these traps. Because if you know the Father, God, your earthly father should be in that category. Love, kindness, discipline, correction, teaching you, being your friend, but being a parent first. You go through life, you start feeling you're not worth it because the other girls are popular in school. Yada, yada, yada. You ever go back and talk to your parents that go to these high school reunions? I was trying to think of that the other day on a video. It just come to me. A high school reunion, and they look at the popular cheerleader that everybody wanted to be, and everybody tried out for cheerleader, and their friends' is part of the judgment of who gets on and who doesn't. Go back and look at them. They've had a couple kids. They've aged a little bit, put on a little bit of weight, maybe not so happy in life. Not so many people want to be them anymore. God created you for who you are. You're somebody. You're important. You just got to find where you are. To find where you are, you have to find Jesus. You got to continue to move on in his pathway. Don't go down the devil's pathway, because you're never going to find anything but discomfort. You are going to find in drugs, you're going to turn to alcohol, most likely alcohol first. Most people turn to alcohol, and then the drugs just seem to come into place. Because you'll be at a party, and again, you got them one friends that are pure pressure. Come on, a little bit isn't going to hurt, just do this, I do it. You see them do it, and everybody's staring at you, and they got these evil eyes on you, and you're like, don't want to be embarrassed, don't want to be in the crowd, don't want to be cast out of their circle. Well, their circle sucks. And I believe I can speak your language, whether you say it sucks anymore or not. I'm sure you guys got a lot of other different words. Most of them I'm like, what? Speaking of different words, what in the world are you people thinking? I walked up, my daughter says, Dad, I said, how's it going with your new boyfriend? We're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet. And this was my youngest daughter. I said, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, we're just talking. I'm like, Tamara, what the world does that mean? Enlighten me, please. She goes, Dad, Tamara. I didn't call her Tamara, everybody else does. I called her Tammy Sue, because that's her middle name, or what I like to call her and embarrass her when she was mad at me, Tomato Soup. Wasn't right, but it's the relationship we had. She says talking means we're getting to know each other. They're still okay to go do whatever they want, and I'm okay to do whatever I want. Stop right there. Hold up. Stop the press. I don't care if the paper never gets published for tomorrow morning. Stop the press. What did you just say? Dad, stop. It's how we do it today. No. No. It is not okay for you to give permission for someone that you want to date, he's saying he wants to date you, to go talk to your friends or their friends or the friends. There's a song, I heard it from a friend, who heard it from another friend, and I heard it from a friend that you've been messing around. Old school, look it up. I forget the name of it, but just Google that lines and you'll hear the song. I don't recommend listening to that garbage because I told you before about music. You ever notice when someone breaks your heart? I'll go back to the talking thing. You ever notice when someone breaks your heart? You turn to music and it's always these sappy love songs, depressing, makes you more depressed. You ever notice that? My gosh, I used to do it. And I wasn't a big dater. I didn't really, like, the older I got, I'd listen to more music, and the more music I listened to, because when you worked out and trained and stuff, I wasn't going to listen to an I Love You song because I want to work out. I need something to keep me motivated and pumped. Women, you tend to lead to this sappy romance stuff, Hallmark movies. I will say today, I couldn't stand them now, but the older I get, I actually don't mind sitting down watching. I really do, because it really teaches you a lot. And I know guys are probably sitting there that watch this video going, is this guy for real? Yes, I'm for real. Guys, you might want to try to watch it sometime. You might actually want to sit down with your wife, your girlfriend, your daughters, whatever, and sit down with them. You'll start understanding a lot more. Just saying. It's true. So, let's get back to the talking. It's okay to go talk. It's okay, but all of a sudden now this person's telling you they're having feelings for you. You're starting to have feelings, but you're still talking. It's like going in somewhere and getting the buffet table and you get everything you want. And don't ever have to have a consequence. It's like saying, I'm going to move in with you, we're going to get married. Guarantee it. Hardly ever does it happen. I know people that's been engaged and has been living together for years now and never got married. So what does that tell you? I guess they're still talking, I guess, but they live together. I'm just saying, is that what you want to settle for? Getting on the internet, looking up stuff, you can end up in places where you don't need to be. I ended up on a lot of satanic realms. I ended up on adult sites that I shouldn't have been on, and curiosity took over. But I was always that type of person that I never wanted to bring someone into my lifestyle. So I thank God for that. I didn't want someone to go through the ups and downs of my attitude, my temper, my hatefulness. I was so far in the devil's realm, I didn't care. Did the devil present stuff to me? Oh, yes. Oh, most certainly. I've been in parties and I've been in things where you could have anything you wanted. There was no consequences. And I mean none. It was like you just picked out whatever you want, whatever girl you wanted, and it was fine. And for a split moment, I'm going through this change of life, and I'm going, well, why not? Everybody else is doing it. They're obviously okay with it. And right at the split moment, a good friend of mine, really good, we had the best relationship ever. She come out of her room crying. And I'm looking at her, and she comes up to me and she goes, can you just please take me out of here? And that girl that I was about to hook up with, she goes, come on, you can take her afterward. And And she looked at me and she goes, if you want to go, go ahead. And I looked at her, I said, let's go. I grabbed my keys. We walked out. She didn't say nothing for a while. We went out to this lake and we sat. Put our feet in the water. I'd splash her with my feet and she'd look at me and just kind of laugh a little bit. And I said, it's okay if you don't talk, you know. She goes, well, I'm not. I said, well, I understand, but it's okay if you don't talk. She goes, what? I said, it's okay, you don't have to talk. Don't talk, it's okay. We'll sit here and just look at the water. Does my foot look fat in this water? This is true, I'm telling you, I wouldn't lie to you. She goes, what? I said, are you gonna, what happened? She says, I told him no, but he forced me to do it anyway. I said, like, sex? And she went, no, to form other things on him. Not just me, but another guy too, at the same time. Now I go, let's go back. She says, no. I said, let's go back. She says, please, I don't ever want to see these people again. Listen to me.
3/4 of a mile. Keep line onto US 23.
I went through a roller coaster with her. She told me over and over, I'm so ashamed of myself. I said, stop. You can't help what people are going to do. You should never put yourself in that room. Anger came over me. You can't take back something that it's done, sealed. I'm not for sure exactly what all happened that particular day. She never really said. I know that she fell into drugs. She fell into deep depression. And 12 months later, I buried her. Not myself. But I stood there and watched them lower her into the ground. And the sad part of it is, the two guys that were present in this were friends dating the other one, so they all showed up. And all I could do was stare at them. I gave her my word on it. You can never know what you're going to go through and what you're willing to give up. Her out was taking her life. The devil won again. See, I didn't know Jesus. I couldn't speak about Jesus. I knew bad thoughts where it would take you. She didn't know Jesus. She was far from being in a Christian family. Bad things happen, even to Christians. We have to accept it. Because this is the devil's world. And I gave the idea on that when you go back into when Jesus was baptized, he was filled with the Spirit of God, went out into the wilderness, and Lucifer came at him. You have to understand, this is, if he promised the world everything Jesus could see, if he would bow down to him, what authority does he have then unless he has control over this earth? Look around. Tell me he doesn't. He wants to break you. He wants to use you in ways that you would never thought that you would ever do. So, let's just say you go into this dating realm and you're beyond the talking. Like I said, if they're saying one thing, well, I can wait with you, well, then they should respect you in that manner. Don't allow someone to disrespect you. Don't allow someone to lead you. They're going to break up with you. Well, if they're going to break up with you, you don't need them in your life. You don't need that mistake. Because you hold emotions. Some people wear their heart on their sleeve, per se. You are very an emotional creation, I guess. The best way to say it. So that being said, girls, appreciate what you have in your life. Even if it's just one parent, appreciate it. Because I guarantee it, that one person's going to work harder and harder and harder to make sure that you're taken care of, that you feel love. Not only that, if the one person, if the other person is absent and don't have nothing to do with you, now they got to be both role models, which you're never going to have the same feeling. Where does that lead? It leads you into confusion. It leads you into a lifestyle that thinking it's okay for women and women. That's all you see today. That is not okay. It's not the way life is supposed to be. I tell you what, I've known more people that's been in a bad relationship like that. I'd see them come into work and I look at them, what happened to you? My girlfriend beat the little tar out of me. I can see that. It's okay, I love her. What? Please explain to me how this is okay. Well, it's a girl, it's not a guy. So it's okay if I date a guy and I can beat the living tar out of him whenever I want. That's okay. Yeah, no. It's not okay for a guy to put his hand on a woman. We're supposed to defend a woman. We're supposed to be there. We're supposed to protect them. Love as Jesus loves the church. Do I slip up sometimes? Yes. I've never hit a woman. I wanted to. When you get thrown out of a window, yeah, you tend to want to really go off on someone. And I know the devil had me that attitude. Get run over by a car by a woman? Yeah, instead, I punched her fender and dented her fender and almost broke my hand doing it, but that's how anger. You don't need that in your life. That's why I say it's better that I never had anybody in my life at that time. I tend to go towards the women's side of friendship more than I do males. Because, let's face it, the male's egos and the male's pridefulness goes into egos was more than I can take sometimes. There's always somebody out there that's going to be more powerful than the next. There's always some girl that's going to look more prettier than what you see, because the devil starts deceiving you. He starts making you think you're never going to be like those magazines you see at the checkout counters of the store. Well, the next time you go in there and you see one of those magazines, I want you to walk up to it, turn that sucker around, and say it's fake, because it is. Most of that is Photoshop, spray paint bodies, change it there, and God has made you who you are. Don't go into a depression, and some people turn to food. I did. I'm telling you right now, I sat and ate food, watched movies, and that was my new drug. True. I gained weight. I felt miserable. The more miserable I felt, the more food I ate. And let's face it, when you're watching a movie, you can eat a bag of chips and not even know it. And then you want something else. I'd go get a tub of ice cream, whatever they are, the ones with the pull-off lids, and I'd eat that like it was nothing. Pizza, I'd eat a large pizza and still be hungry. That's how you know you got a problem. Seriously. You look in a mirror, no matter what you are, anorexic can set in. I went to a point that I felt if I looked a certain way, and then I started going back into my training area, working out like a freight train, trying to make myself feel good. Nothing made me feel good. Nothing. Because when you go home to something that's in your life that is strictly from the devil, that is bashing you down every step you take, ripping everything away from you, killing and destroying you, is that worth it? No, it's not. Because you deserve more than that. You deserve to be respected of who you are. Now, I'm not saying all women are out there that, I ran into some doozies, let me tell you. I got set up on this blind date. And I'm being fair because I'm going to do the same thing with the guys. I got set up on this blind date. You know, I wasn't too crazy about blind dates. I wasn't too crazy about any of it. But I went out, and we're sitting there, and this lady's talking, and I'm just sitting there listening, going, I'm tired. I just worked an extreme amount of hours, and I'm trying to stay focused, and I'm trying to listen, trying to be respectful. I could not, for about 5 seconds, I'm just thinking in my head, if you could just stop being boastful about yourself for 5 seconds, maybe I'll tune in and listen to something. This lady told me about why her last relationship didn't work out, what she wants in this relationship. This is how she expects the person to be in her life. And I just looked flat right at her and I said, would you like to order something to eat? I'm kind of hungry. And she looked at me, she goes, that is disrespectful. No, what's disrespectful is that we're going to sit here and pretend this relationship ever is going to become more than what it is right now. What does that mean? It means I'm not a program. You're not going to program me to do what you want me to do. I just went through a 24-year marriage of that nonsense. I have no desire to go back into a relationship like that. I allowed it, and I'm not allowing it no more. I am nobody's doormat. I will not be somebody's doormat. I will not go through the things in life. That's how you feel. Yes? I was even still willing to pay for the meal. She got up and left. Okay. Can I order now? I mean, you gotta look at life. You gotta look at who you are. You gotta understand. Stop talking to everybody else and go to the source. Go to your mother. She's gonna understand a woman's life more than anybody else. She may even share stuff with you that she went through that you may never know. You may understand more, but it takes that open communication. See, a mother needs to know that you're there. It's appreciation on both ends. But if you're not willing to give a mother the time to talk to you, you may never figure it out. Your mother doesn't want you to go through the same mistakes that she went through. But if you're not willing to listen and take advice, doesn't mean she doesn't care. She's just not going to push it through until you come ask. But don't come and ask if you're in your late 20s. I got this. Yeah, I got you is going to get you in trouble. Today's time, it's okay to have an abortion. What's that sound, doctor? Oh, that's your baby's heartbeat. My baby has a heartbeat? No. Well, you said my baby. This ain't your baby. This baby's about to be aborted. And then as the angel, as they're doing the act, the angel, from my understanding, you're awake. I don't know if it's true or not. I never looked into it. It disgusts me all the way around. Because if you're going to play around, you need to take responsibility. Whether that man's going to take responsibility or not, you already knew he wasn't going to take responsibility because you did the I'm talking phase. That never seems to stop. Because they still want to run around because you gave them the authority. I know one thing. If there's a pack of wolves coming and they're surrounding me, I'm looking for the head leader wolf. Where are you? Because I know if I take out that head wolf, the other ones are going to back away from me. It's true. You might not understand it, but what I'm saying is this. If you go straight to the source, the rest of them disappear. Jesus said when they brought the adulteress to his presence, the law says if we catch them in the act. Okay, did you really catch them in the act? I mean, what was you doing in that place? Did anybody ever really think about this? What were you doing, Pharisee, in that place that you caught them in the act? Kind of opens a whole new doorway, doesn't it? What were you doing in there? It's like catching your pastor coming out of a bar stumbling. Oh, I was in there worshiping and trying to get people to... Well, you're slurring your speech, Pastor. You start to have a lack of respect for what Jesus says. Do as they say, not as they do. If your parents are not good role models and they give you good advice, then take the good advice. Don't settle. Now, say you have that father figure in place. Good, I hope so. I hope he's going to stand up and be the right. But if you have this relationship and you get pregnant and you have baby and you're 14, 15 at this point, maybe 13, 12, 10, I don't know. I mean, it's happening more and more. I heard of a case not too long ago. The girl was 9 years old, had a baby at 10. And I'm thinking in my head, wait a minute, 10 years? Are you sure 10 years? This stuff doesn't cross my mind. Where are we wrong in this? He said he loved me. Well, where is it? You watch as it unfolds. Oh, he's over there now with Sally, having a good time with Sally. Well, guess what? I guarantee it, in a year from now, Sally's going to be pregnant too. My ex-wife's oldest son couldn't stand his dad for what his dad had done. Had kids and kids and kids and kids and kids with different people. Was never around. And I'm the one who took the blunt end of the deal because how he would act. Well, he turned around and did the same thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, how in the world did you have all these kids and criticize your dad for the same thing that you did? Two wrongs don't make a right. Now them kids grow up. Somebody else raising them. The mother don't have them. The dad don't have them. Grandparents got them. Somebody's raising them. So let me get this right. Your generation thinks it's okay to walk in there and say, Merry Christmas, here's my child. When they get old enough, I'll come back and get them. Thank you. No. There's consequences. You played around, you played house. You need to be the mother. Your child didn't ask to come. Let alone that angel when you abort your child because you're assigned an angel. Now the angel's got to take back that aborted child back to heaven. It's true. So where are you at in life? You see why depression comes in. You see why you feel not worthy. Because the world says you must be one way. Now you notice after this COVID went through, you started seeing plus size commercials because everybody was gaining weight. The new heavy was the new in. And everybody was going on these videos, but now we're back into so many different diets and so many different ways to lose weight and how to eat right. Well, then you go in the store and you put 16 items in your cart and you're paying $200 for a bunch of healthy food because they make the bad stuff affordable and you got to feed kids. Well, your teenagers don't have a job yet, you're trying to get through school, and now you just added another responsibility onto your parents. Well, sometimes it's not right, but the things that go through my thoughts is it's a child and it needs love. How many people go through the system and get aborted out, per se, of the system? Here you go. You're 18. Bye-bye. Where am I going to go? I don't know. But you can't stay here. What kind of nonsense is this? You know where these people end up? Girls and guys? Out there on the streets. Out there. Under some pimp that claims to love them. And before you know it, you're getting beat up. Drugs injected into you. Abortions? Oh yeah, they'll let you have an abortion. They'll beat the living tar out of your stomach until you abort the baby. Think I'm joking? Go down that avenue then. You're gonna wish that I wasn't. So many girls end up on the street. So many boys these days end up on the street and they end up in that lifestyle. It's a sick, twisted realm. Don't let the world tell you you're not worthy. Don't let them tell you that you're not important. Don't let them tell you you're not good enough. Yeah, you may pick up a little bit of weight as your body's growing and stuff like that. But there's the right ways to get rid of it. Starving yourself isn't that. Looking at these movies and these shows, people, what you don't understand is you see some of these actors when they're not in movies, they gain a little bit of weight. They put them through an intense training system for weeks before the movie even starts to film. Enhancements, this and that. Yeah. They come on there and these guys rip off their shirt. You ever notice the hunk of the guys that everybody has crushed on? They always seem to take their shirts off and they're always nice and built, muscle bound, because that's what attracts. Because we're fed by there. If that person never took off their shirt, you never got to see any of that, would you physically, and if they had to wear a beard or something, would you physically, because the more you cover up, that attraction really isn't there. Because we look with our eyes, we pick things with our eyes, and we do with our eyes. It controls everything. And as it controls everything, you have to understand something. What it does is allows you to fall into a realm that you shouldn't be in. So what I'm asking you, examine your life. Look at the people around you. Girls as friends, boys as a friend, not a boyfriend, and surely not a girlfriend. Don't go down that route. You're really going to wish you never. In more ways than one. Start learning the love of who you are in life. You're young. You got plenty of opportunity as long as we're still here on this earth. You have the opportunity to grow. Stop trying to grow up. Because once you grow up and you graduate and you go out there in that own world, you're going to have a lot of choices, a lot of decisions to make. And just hope that you make the right ones. But if you got that open relationship with your parents, then you should be okay. As long as you're willing to take advice. People are going to make mistakes. Forgiveness. I tell you, forgiveness is the best tool you'll have because it gives you peace. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right what they did, but you still got to forgive them. You can't let the devil hold that grudge because he'll do it. Stop watching these pregnant teenage shows, these reality shows, Big Brothers and all this stuff, Jersey Shores, oh my gosh, I can't think of it. The wives shows. Look how unstable them shows are. They look a certain way. Most of them are more plastic and more plastic surgeries and more implants than you care to shake a stick at. They don't even know what's real and what's not real anymore. The same as your life becomes. You can have that storybook life. All you have to do is stand back, let Jesus lead you along that pathway. When you're old enough, nothing wrong with dating. If you have to date, then truly stick to the dating profile of not doing anything but. I know, hold hands. It's even okay to kiss, but don't let the fingers do the walking. I know you don't have phone books these days, but back in the day we used to have a commercial. Let the fingers do the walking through the yellow pages thing. You don't need that. Because if a guy's crossing that boundary, it's not okay. I know you're going to go through emotions. You're going to go through mixed feelings. It's part of life. It truly is. That's how we learn. You learn by riding a bike by falling off of it. Any of you ever rode a bike? You're going to understand. You learn to walk by falling. Not a coincidence, is it? You crawled. Some kids don't even crawl. They just learn to start pulling themselves up and start walking. I wish my child would walk. No, you don't. Because then you're going to be exhausted chasing after them every 5 seconds, trying to keep them out of harm's way. Say you get married and you have a child, your child goes into that extreme. You're already tired through the wakeless nights where the child wants to be awake all night and sleep all day. And the male, well, I work. Well, so do I. I'm tired. I need help. Satan starts bringing this dysfunction. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I got to get up and go to work. Oh. I'm sure you're going to feel. Ask your mom if this ever happened. I'm sure she's going to sit there and think probably in her head for a split moment, maybe more than once. I suppose I made this child by myself. Some women are really to put it in your place. See, I wasn't like that. I got up, made bottles, fed the child, talked with them, played around with them, went back to sleep and slept as long as I could. Because it was the only chance I really had to bond with my daughter. It really was. The older they got, the more I started not having that relationship. My youngest daughter, I did a lot because she was with me. But it happens. So you have to understand what you have in your life. Be grateful for what you have in your life. Don't look at the negatives, look at the positives. Don't look at what someone is. Good example, if your grandmother's still alive, go back and ask Grandma, you got any pictures when you were young? You may look, Grandma, you were very beautiful. Well, watch what you say, because that could be offensive. She means, well, I'm not beautiful today. Most grandmas understand. What you see then, what you see now. What if you do everything right, you get in a car accident, not your fault, you're in the passenger seat, now what's the person driving, they somehow hit your side, you hit the thing and you're scarred. Does that make you ugly? Does that make you not so attractive? Does that make you not somebody wants you and you gotta settle? No, I tell you what it makes you. The person that comes into your life doesn't see the scar, they see the inside beauty. If you have an inside beauty, the outside beauty doesn't matter. And if a person tells you that's wrong, you need to get away from it. Yes, we gotta have some kind of physical attraction to understand the inside beauty. If that's not the case, and again, I'm not coming down on myself, I'm just saying, I'm not probably the first choice on most people's list here. I'm using that for an example, not that I care what anybody thinks, I'm just saying, think about it. You go through life, you have to understand God will reveal everything in His time. And, young ladies, I'm going to do this God video right after I do the males video, because I'm probably going to have to do a part 2 and do theirs, but I'll upload this one first. And then I'm going to do the God's timing. Please, if you're watching your video, and males also, if you're watching, please watch the God's timing, because I believe it's going to allow you to see a lot differently too. Nothing is your fault. And nothing. Don't listen to a negative word saying, well, it's your fault that this is happening. No, it's not. Unless it's truly your fault. If you truly caught a house on fire, yeah, that might be truly your fault. If you said bad words against someone, yes, that's truly your fault. If someone walks up to you and they say, I'm breaking up with you, it's your fault. No, what did I do? Well, I want more out of the relationship, you won't give it to me. That's not your fault. That's their ignorance. You grow up later on and they look at you and go, oh, I want to be with you again. I'm sorry. You know, the grass wasn't so greener on the other side. Blah, 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 blah. Don't fall for it. It just means Cindy over there didn't work out. They're never going to be satisfied because they're not satisfied with themselves because this is what they watched. And it was okay. It's all over. Everywhere you look. There's lustful stuff. Girls half-dressed, men half-dressed now. Guys wearing their pants with their butt sticking out. I mean, where is the respect? Please don't date someone that dresses like that. Why would you want that? Why would you want your child to look at that? First of all, why would you want someone else to see that? You don't need that in your life. And I'm not being racist or anything like that. I'm just saying, let's just face it. It's ignorant. It's, when did we come to the time in life that this is all okay? Problem is the devil's having us turn our heads. And that's what he's doing to your generation. Acceptance of everything. Everything's okay. Everything's okay to go through what you go through. Well, let me tell you, it's not. Build the inside beauty, young ladies, young adults, women past your 20s, the respectful age, I guess. You know, sometimes it takes that inner beauty a long time into the 30s and 40s and 50s to show their outer beauty. What do I mean? Some women age like fine wine. The inside and the outside age together. Now that is someone you need in your life. Someone I have in my life. I respect. I don't disrespect. Do I say some words sometimes? Yes. Does it come out wrong? Yes. Do I apologize? Yes. And I even say, I think you're taking things wrong. And I truly mean it. Sometimes I think she probably goes back and thinks, goes, yeah. She helps me pronounce words on, you're saying it wrong. You say it like this, you say it like that, it's this way. I don't get offended by it. I get frustrated sometimes because I can't say the word. I try. There's a lot of words I butcher. I even laugh at it myself sometimes trying to pronounce it. But that's okay. I'm still working on my inner because my outer is what it is. You know, laughter, you find someone that has the qualities like you. Don't be in a rush. Enjoy life. Enjoy your parents or parent. And live. Get to know your mom. Get to know your dad if your dad's willing. If your dad's not in the place. Even if he is. If anything, just because your parents don't do the right things doesn't mean you can't pick up a Bible and read a Bible. Doesn't mean you can't pray to Jesus. You can pray for anything. You can pray that your parents find Jesus. That he leads them into that area. You never know. Hard telling. God's possible. He's possible of all possible. And the Lord's willing to do what we're willing to do with it. So, I'm going to kind of stop there because I don't like overpowering stuff into the mind. And I'm going to offer you this invitation. I'm going to offer you the invitation, if you don't know Jesus, to accept Jesus, first of all. And through that, I know you will get peace and comfort, and you will have a great life. So all you have to say, and I'm going to keep it real simple. Lord Jesus, I'm confused. I don't know where I'm at. I might be in a girl-girl relationship. I might be in a bad relationship. I might be wanting to do things in a relationship to keep this guy in here. I accept you into my life. I ask you into my life. I ask you to speak with me. And I ask you to help me do the right things. It doesn't really have to be in those words, but if you want to use those words, that's fine. It's time to break the strongholds. It's time to break this nonsense. And for you to understand and build the beauty inside and to grow. Grow into that rose I was talking about. And when you finally open up in that woman, when you become that woman stage, you're going to have a fragrance that somebody's going to appreciate. Not just for what they can get from you in a bedroom. Hopefully, you don't have some guy offering, well, I got a car. Really? You better run. There's some bleachers over there. You better definitely run. You don't need nothing like that. Don't be disrespected like that. But anyways, if you want me to touch on anything more, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to walk in any journey with you. If you're feeling like you're being abused or anything, well, I would tell you to go to the person that you trust the most because they can help you through it. Or if someone's doing really bad stuff to you, go to the police. And don't care what anybody else thinks. If you want to talk, I'm always here. Now, women, young ladies, unless you're over a certain age, yes, my email's out there, but I would respect the same respect I'm giving you. Only I will talk with you if a parent is present. I might not be able to see it, but I'm going to go off of you being truthful. And that's out of respect to your parents. First of all, it's out of respect of God, Jesus, your parents, and you. I don't ever want you to feel any other thing but peace and comfort. I have a lot of advice and I have a lot of ways because I've lived upside down and I've been there, done it. Just because I'm a male doesn't mean I don't understand a female. Like I said, I have more female friends than I ever had males. So, for some crazy reason, I got to understand women by having grown up with 3 sisters and a mother and a bunch of female friends. Anyways, let's pray. Our Father, we just lift this young generation up to you, the in-between generation and the seasoned women. We lift them up, no matter where they're at, no matter what they've been through. I ask that they find you and they seek you. And if they know you, that they reinvest their life into your hands and they come to find you again and to walk that life. And if they're in that godly life with you and they're living that life as they're supposed to, let them be there and let them be that example. No matter what heartaches that they go through, let them rise up and show it's okay to be a strong woman. It's okay to be in a relationship and do it right. It's okay to have your order. It's okay to be just exactly who you are and don't try to become anybody else. Lord, I just lift them up to you and I ask for your blood and your protection be over them. I know this is a crazy time. The devil has more technologies and more things out there right now than we've ever had. And the devil just keeps creating nonsense, distractions, and things in their lives that's pulling them further and further away from you, pulling them further and further away from their families, pulling them further and further away from who they truly are, and they're being exposed and abused and used in a way that they shouldn't be. I pray that they come into this area in life and realize, yes, this man makes total sense. I want more of this. But I also want to tell you, stay in prayer, because when you start coming away from the devil's tricks and schemes, he's going to come at you with everything he has, because he did it to Jesus. And he stood there at the beginning of creations with Jesus and God. So what makes you think that he's not going to tempt you the way that he's done the Lord? He's done it upon him, he's going to do it to us. And he's going to come at us because we're not as strong sometimes as Jesus. We can be. All we have to do is accept him and to live the way that he has lived and walk through life. Being patient. I pray patience over these young ladies, these in-between ladies that are coming into that woman's adulthood. Don't let them stay focused on just making money and being a power figure as this woman liberal thing's going through. Don't let them fall into that, because that's going to put the male underneath the Godhead, underneath of them. Don't fall for that. Do it God's order. If you don't know God's order, you're going to understand it if you watch the male's video that's coming up next. I pray for you to be safe, joyful, happiness. Look in the mirror and keep telling yourself, I am important. I am somebody. I'm building and I'm growing as that flower that I'm going to bloom into. You may not be a rose. You may be a daffodil. You may be a sunflower. Either way, you're the flower that God has created you to be. I leave you with peace, love, and joy. God loves you. Jesus loves you. Your parents love you. Your family here on YouTube loves you. And I love you. God bless you. As always, you can leave comments. And know, today is a change. Change yesterday by knowing what came yesterday for today. Tomorrow can be changed if we get today's times and figure out what's the bad, tomorrow those things start to disappear. And only good, positive things stay in your life. Don't look at the ways of life that is changing in your lives. Remember, God knows what He's doing. He knows what He's doing. It may be sad. You may lose people out of your life. But when you get older, if we are here that long, trust me, some things you're going to look back at. It's what I say all the time, that unanswered prayers are sometimes the best prayers that is never answered. God bless you. Till the next one.